On 1st July 2020, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania posted this on his Twitter page. Today, the World Bank has declared Tanzania a middle-income country. In this regard, I congratulate all my compatriots for this historic achievement. We had invested to achieve this status by 2025, but with strong determination, this has been possible in 2020. God bless Tanzania. But what does this statement really mean? And does it have any impact on the lives of the individuals in the country? The World Bank recognizes 189 countries in the world and classifies countries by geographical region, income group, and operational rating categories of the World Bank Group. But in this video, we're only going to focus on the income group. Countries are assigned in either 4 groups according to the Gross National Income, whereby it measures the country's aggregate economy output. Gross national income is calculated using the Atlas method, whereby a country's gross national income is converted to US dollar and then divided by the country's population to get gross national income per capita. If the gross national income per capita is less than $1,035, then the country is assigned as a lower income country. If the gross national income per capita of the country is between $1,035 and $4,045, then the country is defined as a lower middle income country. And this is where Tanzania is grouped, with a gross national income per capita of $1,080. And if the gross national income per capita is between $4,046 and $12,535, then the country is grouped as an upper middle income country. And finally, if the gross national income per capita is more than $12,536, then the country is assigned as an high income country. All recognized countries are reassigned their income status every 1st of July each year. But how was Tanzania able to increase its gross national income per capita? The journey of Tanzania becoming a middle-income country started almost 30 years ago in the late 1990s by the founding fathers of the nation. They started a plan called Tanzania Development Vision 2025, whereby it will ensure economic and social development efforts up to the year 2025. This development plan had 2 main goals. One is to transform Tanzania into a middle-income country with an income status of $3,000 per capita. Also, with 5 main attributes. The first one being high-quality livelihood, peace, stability and unity, good governance, well-educated and learning society, and a competitive economy capable of producing sustainable growth and shared benefits. And the second goal is to transform the Tanzanian economy from a predominantly agricultural one to a diversified and semi-industrialized economy with an industrial sector compared to a middle-income country. The Tanzania Development Vision 2025 was meant to be implemented in a 5-year plan from the early years when it was started, but it was hindered by several factors, among them being heavy indebted poor countries process and the dependence of foreign aid. But later on in 2009 and 2010, the government reviewed the vision and formulated a long-term perspective plan from 2011 to 2025, and it was divided into 3 5-year development plans. The first one being 2011 to 2015, with the main theme of unleashing Tanzania's latent growth potential. This 5-year development plan had positive results with an average annual growth rate of 6.7%. And through the National Strategy for Growth and Poverty Reduction, also known as Mkokuta, poverty was reduced by 6.2% between the year 2007 and 2012. 60% of the targets outlined were achieved. And by the end of this 5-year development plan, Tanzania had a gross national income per capita of $970. The second 5-year development plan, 2016 to 2020, has a main theme of economic transformation and industrialization for human development. This development plan had 3 main objectives. One is to promote industrial economy in order to transform Tanzania into a semi-industrialized nation by 2025. Second is to accelerate economic growth and to ensure the growth benefits its people, reduce poverty and create jobs, and lastly, to strengthen implementation effectiveness. From the year 2016 to 2020, a huge percent of the objective of this 5-year development plan were achieved, which in turn contributed a lot to elevate Tanzania to a lower middle income status. The government implemented the following 5 things among others. Firstly, it enforced implementation effectiveness. Headed by His Excellency, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, he encouraged discipline and accountability in government offices and even in provision of services. He initiated close monitoring of government funds which were previously misused by many. Government sectors like mining and foreign investment, where there was a huge misuse of funds and resources of the country. He ensured all development activities will benefit everyone in the country. This act brought accountability to most government and private sectors. Social services went to the intended places and at the right time. Secondly, the government increased its spending. The government invested in so many different sectors, among them being the transportation infrastructure, especially in road transport and railway, whereby 90% of passengers and 75% of freights were using road transport. From the second quarter of 2015, Tanzania had 8,070 kilometers of paved roads to 2020, whereby it had 86,472 kilometers of paved road across the country. The revival of rail transport, like rehabilitation of the central railway system and the construction of SGR project, increased the government spending and also the movement of commodities inside the country and across the border. A good example is the freight transportation from the Dar es Salaam port to Uganda. Also, the improvement of air transport and revival of the government-owned Air Tanzania in 2016. The government also had a huge construction of hospitals in district and regional areas and also education institutes like schools and universities. The third initiative that the government implemented is to reduce interest rate and the cost of borrowing, which encouraged consumers to spend more. The lending rate of banks in Tanzania were adjusted to encourage more citizens to get more loans and increase production in the country. Also, the country reduced the need and dependence of foreign aid. It encouraged internal income sources. The fourth way was when the government invested in new factories and also encouraged the establishment of small industries by local citizens. They introduced reduced tax and interest rates to individuals who involve themselves in these small industries and production of raw materials in the country. Lastly but not least, the government kept a lot of effort in the collection of tax revenue in all sectors, from mining, importation, transport, and even housing, whereas before tax collection was never closely monitored. These are just some of the ways that the government implemented in the second 5-year development plan, which led to the increase in the gross national income and gross national income per capita of the country, and thus taking Tanzania to a lower middle income status. A strong economic growth advances human development. One way is through parents being willing to invest in their children's education, which increases literacy levels in the country and educated manpower. Also, economic growth helps people move out of poverty. Between 2012 and 2018, the economic growth brought a reduction of 4.5% in poverty levels. The easy access to social services like clean water, health care, and free education characterized true economic growth in Tanzania. Among other things, some are still having a small growth pace. A good example is the unemployment rate. There is a huge number of university graduates who are still unemployed, and with the COVID-19 crisis, where most businesses are impacted, the unemployment rate in the country might increase. Tanzania has to maintain its gross national income per capita for it to maintain its middle income status. But the impacts of the coronavirus on businesses and individual lives of the citizen will make this situation a challenge. Tanzania being a middle income country is not the end of the journey. It still has a long way to go to reach the Tanzania Development Vision 2025 goals. This episode is a result of intensive research and data collection. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, drop a comment, and see you next week.